Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com, and today's video is here in Bluefield. As you can tell, I'm on Bland Street at the moment. I will be taking a right on College up here, just in a little bit, and then I'll be taking a left on Washington Street. And this video is basically dedicated to Washington Street, Toledo Street, Rose Street, all those little streets right there. I've had several requests for Toledo and Rose and Washington Street lately, so I figured I'll just do a whole video on that little section. It's a shorter video than typically I do, but hey, why not? So I figured I would talk to you today about somebody that was born in Bluefield and has had an interesting history. It's Dr. Zurl A. Palmer. And he was born in Bluefield, but he also went to Bluefield State College, Howard University, and Xavier University. After his education at Bluefield State and Howard University, he was wanting to go to a professional school, and in West Virginia, African Americans were barred from professional schools, so he ended up at Xavier University in Louisiana, the College of Pharmacy in New Orleans, and he sought financial assistance from his home state, getting train fare and partial tuition paid. After graduation, Palmer moved to Lexington, Kentucky, and established a group of black professionals. Among them were 9 medical doctors, 4 dentists, and 2 pharmacists. Due to segregation, soda fountains at existing pharmacies were off limits to blacks. Although Palmer had difficulty in locating an ice cream company willing to do business, Dixie Ice Cream agreed, and then the popularity of his soda fountain grew. Palmer understood the need to draw customers into his store in addition to the soda fountain, as profit margins from medicines was low. He annually crafted the Palmer Pharmacy calendar and photos of the black community, which were very popular. In 1961, he constructed the mid-century modern building on 40th East 5th at Chestnut to house his pharmacy with 2 doctors and a lawyer, and opened the Palmer Pharmacy Luncheonette and doctor's office in 1961. The opening was reported in Jet magazine in December of 1961. So right now, just a heads up on where I'm at while I'm driving these streets. This is Toledo Street. I took a left on Washington and then took a right on Toledo, and it circles around. At the top of this street, I'll be taking a left on Fairmont Street. It's just up ahead on the left. Then I will take a right back onto Washington, then take another right on Rose Street. So you can see now I'm taking this left on Fairmont. So let's go back and finish talking about Dr. Palmer. So the popularity of his store grew, and he opened a second store in Lexington in 1966 on Georgetown Street. But it was the site of a bombing on September 4th, 1968, and it was a KKK bombing. The store was destroyed and damaged 3 others in the West End Plaza. 8 people were injured. Palmer, his wife, and 4-year-old daughter, Andrea, were hospitalized after being trapped under rubble for hours. In 1970, Klansman Philip J. Campbell of New Albany, Indiana, was convicted of the crime after a 90-minute deliberation. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the other stuff that he was involved in. So he was involved in the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, the Chamber of Commerce in Lexington, and the Planned Parenthood. His church on Main Street Baptist was an organized health care program. And Palmer was one of the first members of the Kentucky Commission on Human Rights, which is charged with the enforcement authority. An organizer of community action, he was the first black member of the Optimist Club and Big Brothers. So he has done a lot for Kentucky. And think about it. He was born in Bluefield, West Virginia, and went to Bluefield State. Something else that I can tell you about him, he was on the UK Board of Trustees from 1972 to 79, and the original building where his pharmacy was in Lexington, Kentucky, is now part of the city government offices. So they're trying to get it added to the National Registry of Historic Places. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so right now, as you can tell, are now on Rose Street, and we've circled around on Rose Street. We're coming back to Fairmont Street, where I will take a right to basically go up to the top of the hill to get on Washington Street. And the video will end at the bottom of Washington Street, basically, as I'm turning back onto College. So, in a sense, we're getting close to the end of my video. Now, one last little thing that I wanted to talk about with Dr. Palmer is that in Tazewell County, down at the Tazewell County Courthouse, there's a mural that depicts 11 African Americans, basically from the Appalachian region, who had major contributions to the area. One of the others that are on the mural is Lethia Cousins Fleming, who is a suffragist and a teacher. But anyway, it's the mural's called Standing Tall and Proud, and the artist is Ellen Elms. So I thought that was really neat. It's just 30 minutes down the road. In February of 2023, we'll talk about Lexington a little bit more, since that's where he lived the majority of his life later on. But in February of 2023, an agreement with the city of Lexington, Kentucky, the United Way of the Bluegrass, agreed to take over his property. The Marksbury Family Waypoint Center opened in May of 2024, and the centers are a United Way program which offer a one-stop shop of social services supported by the coalition of agencies to families in need of assistance. And there's also a road named after him. It's called the Dr. Zurl Palmer Lane. And it was in 2022 when it was put up in his honor. There's planned construction for the road near a new Head Start Center, as well as 10 single-family affordable homes and a 5-unit apartment building. And the Lexington Housing Authority will construct the homes, and the city has funded the road. So there's just a little bit more interesting information about Dr. Palmer. I figured I would read to you something about him today, since maybe some of you aren't familiar with him, and just where he's from, Bluefield, and went to Bluefield State. It's some interesting information. Well, this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, make appointments so I can help you plan your next travel adventure. And if there's any place in southern West Virginia you would like for me to record, just give me a yell. Talk to you all later.